Everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I've got a few away from Ascot, and I also want to highlight a horse that you must put in your Nagme after just being beaten in the Sandringham. So the four for tomorrow that are away from Royal Ascot are in the 259er Air, Yukon Glen. I think we know he's well handicapped. He's down to 99. He's a 10-year-old, and the thing with as a 10-year-old, you've got to keep going for races. You can't plan around a race. You can't plan around like the Ebor and try and work from the Ebor. You've got to be going for every single race and hope one of them drops in. Now, this looks like a good place, a good bit of placing. It's a 0 to 100 handicap. It's worth 22 grand or 21.6 still. Look at his form at the track. His form at the track is second, 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 fourth, first, first. Now, the seconds were behind May Danny, Royal Champion, who won at Royal Ascot this week, Speed Company on debut. Fourth was behind Adabe, only 3.25 lengths behind Adabe. And he's also won twice at the track in this race in 2017 and 2018. He's down to a minute winnable mark for sure. He was winning those two off 88 and 94, but he's a better horse than that. He was going up through the grades. He's still rated 99, but I think he's got a great chance here, to be honest. I've not been that disappointed with his efforts. I thought his fourth at Musselburgh was a good effort, and then he probably didn't stay, in my opinion, the Chester Cup trip. His fourth behind Wise Eagle and Metier looks good form. Obviously, Wise Eagle went on to finish second to Coltrane in a Group 3. Coltrane obviously ran a huge race in the Gold Cup. Second, Metier went on to win the Chester Cup. Good form. Pleasant Man, okay, he disappointed in the Ascot Stakes, but it's a race that if you don't run well in it, it's not always the end of the world. Emin, who was fifth, ran a good race for a long way in the Chester Cup. I think, let me just check something. So on that day, Emin was rated 89 and Yukon Glen 102. So there was £13 between them that day. Tomorrow, there is, if we just get back to it, I'm just looking on my other screen. Please bear with me. A 99 and Emin is running off 88. There's £11. Okay, Zach takes 5 off Emin, but you've got to get Emin's fractions spot on. I think Yukon Glen, under his regular rider Paul Mulrennan, I think he can go really close here. We know he likes the course. His best run in recent times was probably here over over a mile and 2 that day. Over a mile and 2, which would have been too short for him. It was in a listed race. He got beat by Royal Champion. Obviously, Royal Champion's won at Royal Ascot. This is his trip. This is his course. I think he'll go really well at a decent price, to be honest. He is 8 to 1 is available about Yukon Glen, and I think that's a fair price about him. Next race I want to talk about is the 740, and you can see by my point on the race who I like in this. It is Sea Grey. Now, Sea Grey was disappointing for us 2 runs ago when held up right out the back. And I think the jockey thought he was going to go close still. It was Jason Watson that day, because he didn't ask for much of an effort until actually the race was finished at York. He finished 11th for that day. He went off 10 to 1. That was in a Class 4, but it was in a competitive Class 4. Last time out, he finished 5th of 5, again disappointing in a Class 4, but he's dropping back in trip now, and I think that's the key to him. His best effort when second to ET was over this mile and 2 trip, which I think is key, and it was actually over this course and distance. That came off a mark of 79. He runs here off 78, so he's actually £1 lower than when he was second, arguably running his best race in a while 3 runs ago. It would not surprise me if he goes very close again. He's still unexposed, really, and he is priced accordingly. He's priced at 11 to 4, which I think is a fair price. I think he is the one to beat back over this course and distance. The next horse I want to talk about also has course and distance form to their name, is Cruyff Turn, who, as you know, we've liked a couple of times. It's not quite worked yet this season. But because of that, he's dropping in the weights, and he's been given a chance here at Redcar. His form at Redcar is 7th on debut, and then he's won his next 2, including this race in 2021. When he won this race in 2021, he won it really comfortably, actually, beating a horse called Tadlil. Now, he won that off 91. He runs here off 91, is that right? He won this off 90, sorry. He runs here off 91. Well, if he was running off 91 when he won this race 2 years ago, he would still have won. And he still would have won quite comfortably. This is a drop in class from what he's been running in recently. You know, he was 10th in a Class 2. That was disappointing. But he only went off 13-2 that day. He was 8th in a Class 2. He only went off 15-2 that day. I think now back to a Class 3. He's overpriced at 9s. I would have had him down here at 5 sort of price. I think Cruyff Turn could get an easy lead here, and in this grade he could find that he's good enough to win. An interesting thing is he's currently rated 91, which probably wouldn't get him in the Bunbury Cup, or it would be very, very close for the Bunbury Cup. If the Bunbury Cup is something they like, he's £9 lower than when 6th last year. Okay, he's not going to be £9 still if he wins here, but he might still be, I don't know, £4 lower. He could go up to 96, go up £5. Say he goes up £4 for winning, he'd be off 95. He'd still be £5 lower and be able to get in the Bunbury Cup, which is a race obviously worth winning. £5 lower than when 6th last year. That would certainly give him a chance. The final horse I want to talk about is in the 402, and you can see it is our top rated horse, and that's Russet Gold. This is an easier race than what he's been running in. Last time out he returned in a very good competitive 3-year-old dash at Epsom. Things didn't go to plan, it didn't work, but he went off 11-2 that day with Harry on board. He returns here into easier company, and he's still at 11-4. He only went off 11-2 for a better race. Okay, he disappointed, but there's still more to come from Russet Gold, I'm sure, and second time after a gelding operation could be the time to catch him. If he's as progressive and as forward as they think he is, you know, better than 85, you know, he got beat off 87. If he's better than that, this will be the time to show it at Redcar. The final race I wanted to just highlight, or the final horse I want to talk about, is Bridestones. Go and watch Bridestone's effort in the Sandringham. Hampered a couple of times, didn't get the clearest of runs, and then absolutely sideswiped about 2 furlongs from home. If she hadn't been sideswiped, she would have definitely won her side. Now, that might not have been good enough to win the race still, but I think the handicap is going to look at that and go, okay, we'll drop her another couple of pound. If she drops to something like, 91, for a horse who'd finished 6th in a Group 3, in a good Group 3 as well, behind Remarque, who's obviously ran well, Swing Along ran well at Royal Ascot as well. Stenton Glider didn't really do the form much good in the Guineas, but that was Group form. Whereas Bridestone, I could see dropping back, staying in handicap company. She was only beaten 6 lengths in a Group 1. I think her handicap mark didn't represent her ability in that race. And although she's finished well beaten in, 13th, I think, she's much better than that. And I think she will go very close in her subsequent handicap. The good one, that's where I'd go. The EBF Premier Fillies handicap at Newbury on Saturday the 22nd of July, the day before my birthday. Rated 76 to 95. She would get in off 93. I think she'll run off 91. I think the handicap will drop her another couple of pounds. And I'd be very confident of a huge run there. 3 of the last 4 years, a 3-year-old has won it, so it's not an issue to be running a 3-year-old in that race. But yeah, if Bridestones comes out in another handicap, I think she's very, very good. And she's better than her handicap mark. And to be honest, having won the race with Coppice, John Gosden might have been delighted to see his other horse, Bridestones, get nowhere near the front and be totally ignored. So there's some thoughts for tomorrow away from Royal Ascot. Yukon Glen, I think this is his chance to go well at Ayr. Seagrave back over this course and distance, I think will run a big race at Haydock. Cruyff Turn back over this course and distance at Redcar, I think will run a big race. And Russet Gold down in class to this race at Redcar, I think, can go very close here. And also keep in mind Bridestones for future handicaps.